Veggies.
Hi, Sheldon again, and welcome to part 2 of rules for your garden. You're dealing with location, and are your plants going to be in the bright sunlight, or are they going to be in 50% sunlight, or are they going to be in full shade? You have to know what you're planting and what you're going to grow and how they're going to grow. Now, the sun is very, very, very hot. I have found in the last few weeks. So even though plants are supposed to be in full sunlight, it is too hot. Again, where you're putting your plants, is it breezy versus not breezy? Is it calm? Is it windy? How is it? Because you don't want to have tomatoes staked, and the next thing you know, right, is that the wind blew over your tomatoes, knocked down, gone, as we say in Trinidad, gone through. You think mash up, right? You don't want that. So you want to be able to protect your plant. Rule number 8, learn your plants. Learn the characteristics of your plants. Learn the nature of your plants. Learn what affects your plants. Okay? What is the cycle like? How long does the cycle take? Right? You need to know. You need to know how long it takes and when it should happen. Because if it does not happen after you're doing the right things, then something is wrong, obviously. So you want to ensure that you know your plant. Okay? What type of support does your plant need? I mentioned that I have squash. My squash, and cucumber and my Malabar spinach and my passion fruit, they all have an A-frame trellis right over the pot. So that will run on them. You may have seen the pictures on Facebook, but they have a trellis over them. All right. You also have hanging baskets, and you can have the plant hang down. That doesn't need support. You can have it hang down. But you have to know how your plants look healthy when they're healthy and how they would look when they're being attacked. Because because I know the leaves, I know how they're supposed to look. It was so easy to identify when the plants were being attacked. Remember my cucumbers being attacked by these green worms, these green caterpillars? My God, those things are horrible. But anyway, I dealt with them. I use Cure, I use Dipel, and I mixed that with a little neem oil, and I have eradicated those caterpillars. Rule number 9, know what your veggies look like at a mature state. I'm talking about the actual veggie itself. So for instance, pak choy, cabbage, lettuce, right? These are edible veggies, and you want to ensure you know what they look like when they have matured, because if they pass the maturity stage, they will become tough, bitter. They won't be nice. They won't be juicy. All right? Because when I picked the kale, I had to be sure that I was picking the kale at the right time, and it was. Trust me, it was. Know the importance of caging, of staking, of having trellis, of vining, of twining. All right, you have to know the importance of these things. Why is it necessary? Why is it important? Now, as I previously just mentioned with the A trellises, it is to have the plants run on them. So when, for instance, the cucumber runs up the trellis, the cucumber actually will hang down off the ground. All right, that way it's healthier. Right? You have to know, you really do need to research the styles of support. You could even invent your own support. I'm telling you, yeah, you can. You can invent your own support. Rule number 11 is pollination. Am I a manual pollinator or am I a natural pollinator? Now, a manual pollinator it's like my case. Hardly any bees, hardly any butterfly. Tons of flowers fell off. Plants not bringing fruit. What do? Well, you go on the old trusty, dependable YouTube and you look up what's happening. And you learn how to manually pollinate. So you could use your electric toothbrush, a small artist-like paintbrush. You could use your hand and shake, or a piece of stick and shake the plant. But the whole thing is to get the pollen mixed out of the flower. So flowers, tomatoes and sweet peppers and these type of plants, can be done with shaking. That's if you're doing it manually. Now, when it comes to the vines, like cucumber, pumpkin, and squash, and these guys, you have to literally take the male flower take off pieces of the male flower and insert the male flower into the female flower and, put them together. Now, how you would know the difference? The female flower has the fruit right below it. That's how you know the difference. Okay? What you need to also be sure of is to monitor if the fruit, in the event of the vines, are dying back or growing healthily. Now, if they are dying back, it means it wasn't pollinated. Sorry. So, but you want to try again, and you want to keep trying again. And you need to be sure you know how many fruits are on your vines. Because if you miss a fruit and it was not pollinated, it will die. Rule number 12 is know how to identify insects, good ones, bad ones, and how to identify fungus, how to identify anything that will kill your plants. All right? Because you have good insects, right? And they help your plants, like ladybugs and other little insects. They actually help your plant. But then you have the bad ones, the aphids and the worms and this and the that, and the white fly and the mites and the blight and the this. I mean, my goodness, it's a long list. You don't want to miss those guys. Trust me, you don't want, because my tomatoes suffered greatly from leaf miners. These guys, they damage the leaves, and then the leaves are damaged, so the plant can't receive much. All right, so they had to go. I don't care if they paid rent, they needed to go. I don't care if they guarding the house in the night, you need to go. If you're a leaf miner, you got to go. Okay? And lastly, which alternatives to switch to if the one you're using now is not effective? It's vitally important to be able to switch, to know your options, to know what else you can do. It's never one thing. It's never just something alone you're only allowed to do. Oh, Granny used to throw soap water on the plants all the time. Bath water, soap water, you name it. I mean, if you miss and you throw away that thing in the yard, boy, you getting that kind of licks, you don't even know what you did. All right, so these are the rules, and so I just wanted to talk to you a bit about the rules. I wanted to share with you the rules for the garden. There are the rules, of course, like don't walk where you plant, don't stand where the garden soil is, you'll compact the soil. There are other rules, but I don't want to overburden you with these rules, with too much information. Information will come, but I thought to share these observations with you and see what you do with it. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you thought. So I enjoy talking to you. I like, the fact that you were listening and you paid attention. But hey, check out Facebook. There are videos there, there are pictures there of things that we use. You can see what the dipel look like. You can see what the cure look like. All right, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Have a fun time in your garden. Celebrate life with greenery. All right, love you. Take care. See you soon.